Today we're going to look at an additional statement, the if statement in Python. And this allows us to choose between different functionality that we might want to have happen. So for example, right now, our programs have only been following one course of action. For example, they would always do the same thing. They might repeat something, but they would always do the same thing. The if statement allows us to choose between different statements. So let's look at an example. So take a moment and look at this program here. You can pause the video. I highly recommend it. And so let's take a minute and let's say the user enters as input. So we've got this day of the week variable and it's getting the input from the user. What day is it? Take a moment and think about what's going to happen, what the program's going to output if the user enters Monday, if the day of the week is Monday. Did you think through it? Did you pause and look at it? Wonderful. So if we are going to enter Monday as the day of the week, let's follow this if statement. So on line 10, does day of the week equal Saturday? No. Does day of the week equal Sunday? No. Else? Well, if you said we're going to print wake up at 7 a.m., you're correct. Okay, so the way this if statement works is we try the first condition, then we have some elifs until we finally hit the last condition, else, if nothing else has been met. Okay, so let's change colors here. Let's try to see what happens if we input the day of the week is Saturday. If you said that we're going to print out wake up at 9 a.m., you are correct. Let's try the next example. What if we enter Sunday? If you said we're going to print wake up at 10 a.m., you're also correct. And the way that works is we ask ourselves, we go through the if statement starting on line 10, if the day of the week is Saturday. No, it's Sunday today, is what we entered for the input. And then we check line 12. Is the day of the week Sunday? Yes, it is. So we print wake up at 10 a.m. Also pay close attention to indentation. Notice, just like with for loops, we've indented the pieces of the if that we want to be executed together. So whatever we want to happen if the day of the week is Saturday, we have indented right underneath the if. Okay, finally, let's take one other example. What if we entered the day of the week is raining? Well, if the day of the week is raining, is it Saturday? No. Is it Sunday? No. Else? We're going to print wake up at 7 a.m. even though this isn't a day of the week. So right now we don't have any kind of error checking or verification to test to see if the day of the week the user enters is actually a day of the week. Okay, so hopefully you had looked out, you had tried to predict what this code will do on your own, made some hypotheses, and if for some reason your hypotheses were incorrect, that's where you want to dive in a little deeper to understand what's going on. So the second challenge we have is to revise the program above so the user can also enter Saturday or Sunday or Saturday or Sunday. So let's take a look at just the lowercase version first. How can I change my code so that the user can enter Saturday or Sunday with lowercase letters? Well, the simplest way to do that is to change the input to b.lower and then to lowercase Saturday and Sunday here. So that's how I take care of A. Let me change colors so I can take care of B. But what if, and in fact, lowercase will work for these two. Notice that these have unusual casing with upper and lower case all over the place. Well, by lower casing the input that the user enters, I've made everything conform and so everything can match. If you want, you could try again and see about adding in Sunday or Saturday as options as well. Okay, so let's continue on. What's going to be output by this code? So in this example, we're exploring some of the different components that can come as part of an if condition. So let me just clarify this. A template for an if statement is if, elif, else. So we have if some condition, and here we're going to do stuff if it's true, and then we have elif some condition. Again, we want to do stuff if it's true. Else, do stuff if no prior condition is true. And another thing to note is that we always have to have one if in this. And we could have 0 or 1 else's, and we can have 0 or more elifs. Okay, so it is possible to have if statements. If you say if x equals 5, and you might print something. And you would have nothing else. You'd have no elifs, no else's. You can also have the else here too. And so you can combine this if statement in many different ways. So on this example here, we are looking into more deeply some condition. So everything we're printing out here are things that could be if conditions. So all the pieces of this exercise could show up in place of an if or elif condition. Okay, now I'm going to erase this for now. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's start with the first one. We're setting x equal to 3 and y equal to 7. Let's take a look at line 7 now and print not x equal to 5. So the first step is, does x equal 5? No, it doesn't. So remember we had talked about Boolean values of true or false, right? So we have true or false. Well, x doesn't equal 5. This is going to be false. But then I'm adding the not, which means I get true. So not false is true. Let's look down here. Is x greater than 0 and y greater than 0? Why, yes, they are. And I'm going to just start abbreviating these to true versus false. Is x less than 0 or y less than 0? No, that's false. How about x times y? Well, x times y equals 21. So if I look on line 10, x times y, is 21 greater than 20? Yes. Is 21 less than negative 20? No. True. Oopsies. True or false is going to give me true. And if you're not familiar with and, or, and not, you'd like a little bit more experience with that, please take a look at the slides for ifs, and it has more information. Let's look down at the more challenging ones on lines 13 to 16. And I highly recommend that you take a moment and pause the video and try those out for yourself first. Okay, so we've got x equals 0. Nope. Or y equals 5. Nope. So both of these together, this or is also false, but then I'm going to say not false is true. Let's try again. X is 0. Nope. Y is 5. Nope. My or is false. Oops. except we have to pay careful attention to these parentheses here. So in the previous one, I had parentheses, and then I applied the not. But here, I'm going to say not x equals 0. That's going to give me true. True or false is going to give me true. Then on the next line down, I'm going to have x equals 3. That's true. And not y equals 5. So y equals 5 is false, but not y equals 5 is true. True and true equals true. X equals 3 is true. Y equals 5 is false. That means true and false is going to give me false. Not true and false is going to give me true.